everyone. Very fine good evening to all of you. I'm Anuja, and we are meeting here today to talk about CLAT Sprint. Now, I always begin this session. This is the third of such a session, which we are calling CLAT Sprint, and we always begin by defining what a sprint is all about. So, sprint is what prepares you for a marathon. Marathon, as you understand, is a kind of exercise in which we solve a lot of questions in one go, right? And that is why we keep planning such sessions for you. We have a marathon planned very soon for you. I hope you be a part of that as well, because you get to solve so many questions in one place, in one time, if you're attending a Legal Edge marathon session. But today's session is a sprint session. Now, sprint is a smaller version of it. Here we take a few questions. So today we are only taking 10 questions, and we aim to solve them together, understand it, and when you read and I read simultaneously, we will be able to share insights. I will be able to point out the parts which are very crucial for finding out the answers, and we can be able to share tips and tricks for better comprehension. So, as I said, two questions, two RCs today. I hope you all are familiar with the format of reading comprehension passages, because that is what we are dealing with today. That is the question type in CLAT 2020, right? So many RCs were given. So it's a text, usually of under 500 words, and we read it and we are supposed to summarize it, understand the main points of it, because there are questions based on it. You do not have to use any information which falls outside the purview of the passage. No, no GK is involved. You just understand what is written there. Now, that content can be from any topic under the sun. Okay, it could be from any topic. It could be psychology, science, history, anything. When you understand that text and you have made note of all the main points, then you come to the questions, you compare each option closely, because it is an objective question type. The options are going to be very close, and you choose the right option. Now, I will also be playing the passages on my slide here, and you will be able to read on the screen. But to facilitate it even further for you, I have created a PDF of the passages, and we have shared it on our Telegram group. So, if you're a part of our Telegram group, that is LegalEdge Telegram group, then you can also find the sheet there. Otherwise, you can read it on the screen behind me. So first, I'll give you time to solve, because I don't just want you to listen to it, I want you to really solve it. So first, I will be giving time for you to solve, and then we'll begin the discussion. Okay, so let's get started with the first RC. There you go. I hope you have read the text. The text has uh, six paragraphs. I mean, six right here because it was divided into slide six in total. So this is the last set. And now, time for questions. So first you find out answers. There are five questions based on this text. Then we will discuss. I'm giving you ample time because it's imperative to compare the options. Otherwise, you would be making a wrong decision. You would think that you've compared everything and you've found the answer, but that would be wrong. So I hope you're done with all the five questions, and I will begin by summarizing each paragraph because that is what is the gist. If you know the gist of each paragraph, then you will understand it. Okay. So, as we see in this passage in the very beginning, we are taken back to 1820, where Alexis Boulevard, who was the director of the Paris Observatory, he could have made a huge discovery. That means he did not make that huge discovery he could have made. And what is the huge discovery that they are talking about? They are talking about the discovery of Neptune, because he did know that there was something beyond Uranus, but he was convinced that the old star catalogs were simply wrong. Had he done something about it, then the situation would have been very different. But then that was a discovery that he just did not make. He assumed that old star catalogs were simply wrong. Then what happened? Moving on, it is told to us that by 1840, it became widely accepted. Everybody started believing that there is a more distant planet that is perturbing, that is disturbing Uranus orbit. You know how interesting it is that in this particular passage we are getting to read about things that we generally assume. We just know that Neptune was there in existence, but in this passage we are getting to know how it was discovered. So I think you can take interest in that part of it if you don't find it interesting otherwise. Okay, now because there was common consensus, people were accepting it that yes, there must be something behind Uranus. Now there was this guy, a French mathematician, who worked on Alex's data, and then they finally discovered this astronomer finally discovered Neptune in 1846. Okay, moving on to the next paragraph, we are told that now this story of prediction, new theory, and triumphant confirmation is becoming famous. So everybody is predicting and they are thinking of even more planets. In fact, they have found something called Planet X as well. And as we read further, we get to know maybe Pluto was thought to be Plot X, Planet X. That is because Pluto was discovered in 1930. So that is what they thought. And now, when we read this paragraph, we get to know how author feels about all these hypothetical planets. So author says that see that planet X, that hypothetical planet was disappearing from the picture. That means it was not there. But astronomers started noticing that outer solar system is far from empty. There are many things in outer solar system. And then they mentioned the Kuiper belt in which objects are constantly being pushed and pulled by planet's gravity. That is happening, right? And in the context of that, they started to understand the whole solar system. So I'm sure that somebody who has inclination towards science and understanding what our solar system is made of would find it inherently interesting. But if you're not one of those guys, it's okay. You don't need to be an expert just to read something. You just have to go through it and find out enough data, enough main points so that you can find out the answers. So now let us check if you are that guy. Question number one asks you if Alexis Bouvard had not thought that the old star catalogs were inaccurate, then what would have happened? Because he thought that they were inaccurate, he did not make the discovery. But had he thought then, he would have discovered. And which option says that? Option B. Neptune would have been discovered around 25 years earlier. Okay. Now, why not A, C, or D? Because they are adding additional information as well. So, exact location or exact deviation. No, those are not the kind of things that he discovered. So, be very sure to eliminate options that have irrelevant data and they are not our answers. So, question number one, our answer is B. Moving on to question number two, here a particular part of the passage is mentioned, and that is why it's always advisable to go to that part and look at the usage. Here they are talking about the word effort. And in that sense, effort is C. It is the hypothetical expectation of the existence of more planets. Remember, after Neptune was discovered, everybody was thinking that, okay, there could be more planets. So, this hypothetical expectation was the effort that everybody was looking forward to. So, question number two, the answer is C. Question number three, the author is likely to agree with which of the following about the hypothetical planet? Do you remember author's stand about the hypothetical planet? He said that it's all going to vanish. So he doesn't really believe in all this hypothetical planet. And that is why the author's opinion is going to match with D. The existence of Planet X is doubtful, basing on the evidence available till date. I think it's very important for us to understand how the author feels. Only when we understand that, we will be able to know, okay, what the subject matter is and how the author feels about the subject matter. Now, question number four, in the context of the whole passage, which of the following best describes the function of the second paragraph? Now, you know why I made you summarize paragraph by paragraph? Because only when you summarize paragraph by paragraph can you understand what is the role of the second paragraph. So, what was first paragraph about? It told you that Alexis could have made the discovery, but he did not. And what are the repercussions of that? That is told to you in the second paragraph. And that is why I think the answer should be A. It explains, para 2 explains the implications, the repercussions of miscalculations mentioned in the first paragraph. Miscalculations done by Alexis. And the last question, which of the following, if true, would weaken the author's observation on Kuiper belt? Remember what was the author's observation on Kuiper belt? That there are objects here that are constantly sometimes pushing and sometimes pulling each other. But if you want to weaken that, if you want to undermine that, you are supposed to say something that is the exact opposite. And which option has the exact opposite? Why don't you read option B? It says the planets that exert gravitational pull are too far away from Kuiper belt to show any significant impact. If you say that they are so far, they will not have any effect. That means you have gone exactly contrary or contraire to what the author said. And that is why B is our answer. So I hope you had a good time solving that one. And even if you got 3 out of 5 correct, I think that's a decent score. Now, better luck in the next passage that I'm going to have on the screen right now. And the same modus operandi will be followed. So you solve it first, then we'll discuss. I hope you're finding it simpler because I think if you look for the main message is very straightforward in this one. And that's it. We are down to the questions now. An ultimate question. Last question. All right, now let me help you out from the very beginning. So let's discuss this text first, which has got only three paragraphs. And when you read the first paragraph, you will understand that there is a conference which is happening, and in this conference, they are trying to find out the author. There is an authorship controversy. And the author of what? The author of the 2000-year-old Dead Sea Scrolls. They are trying to find out who could the author be of those scrolls. They are 2000-year-old. Okay. Now, some people feel that they were called Essence, Jewish community living in Qumran, and some people feel otherwise. And they are trying to support their argument. So, somebody called Esther Eshel of Hebrew University is using a legal document. And in that legal document, there is a four-letter word, but the lower half is cut off. So she believes, just by reading whatever part is available, she believes that it means to the commune, and that is why she has gone ahead with her interpretation. But of course, her interpretation is logically attacked by other person who says that the shape of the upper half does not allow such a translation. How are you translating some such a thing? And he's even saying that there was no Jewish community at Qumran. How are you saying that that Jewish community was the authors? So this is what has happened so far. Do you have a clear conclusion so far of who the author was? No. Moving on, there was one more debate that there was going on in the conference, and that was about where the toilets were. So some people said it was outside, some people said that it was inside the premises, and again, there is some, somebody called Baumgarten is arguing something else, and somebody is arguing something else. But again, we do not have a clear conclusion. And if you read the third paragraph, you see that the problem even goes further. The plot thickens because now we are told that there are some papers that Father Roland has written, and they have some very specific niche information, but those papers were never published. People do not have access to those papers. And until they get those papers, they cannot make any solid conclusions because they want to see the original records. They should be published, they should be available to scholars. Look at the conclusive line. It says they are no less important than the Dead Sea Scrolls themselves. So I think this has been going on in a very specific structure. The problem is getting more complex. We are not able to understand who authored these scrolls. And I think that is why we have ready answers to some questions. Anyway, we'll see them as they come. So question number 6, which of the following, if true, would weaken Baumgarten's argument about inhabitants of Qumran? Do you remember that Baumgarten said something very specific? See this paragraph somewhere in the middle. It's written. Baumgarten argued that this inconsistency suggested that the inhabitants of Qumran were not essence. He used a particular point and then he concluded that the inhabitants of Qumran were not essence. But if you want to oppose that, then what do? You do not take anything specific. You do not say that essence had this particular custom. Instead, you choose C. C says they used both customs depending on where they were. And if you say that they used both customs, that means you will not be able to tell who these inhabitants were, right? So C does your job. Question number seven asks you to add least depth to Magnus' position. And when I say add least depth, that means do not strengthen. And that is why we will systematically go to every option and eliminate the ones that strengthens the point. And that is why we are left with answer D. Now, I think, I never support that solve a question without reading the passage, but this is exactly the kind of question which can be solved by common sense also. Just see what D is saying. D is saying many a time you speculate, that means you do guesswork, and you do not have concrete evidence in support of it, but still it proves valuable. Now, this is not the way you do critical reasoning. This is not how you support anything without evidence, just on the basis of speculation. You do not say that something is true. So, this is the one that adds least depth. It is the one that strengthens the very less. Now, all others have logical explanations. So, our answer is D. Question number eight. The author is likely to agree with what about the Dead Sea Scrolls authorship controversy? Do you remember? There was no conclusion. People were saying different things, but we were not presented with a specific conclusion, and that is why the author will say A. The controversy is still open to debate because of divergent viewpoints that still prevent. They even want those Farder Roland's research so that they can be sure. But right now, no conclusion. Question 9, Eshel's argument. Remember? First paragraph, she was reading only the upper half. About the legal document found in Qumran will be most strengthened. You have to support her. So, what do you say in her support? You say C. You say that yes, the translation that she has done, that is possible. If you say that no, the translation that she has done is not possible, then you are opposing her. But if you say yes, just by seeing the upper half, what she has decoded is the correct interpretation, so you're supporting her. And that is why C is your answer. And now the last question, which of the following best describes the functions of the third paragraph? Remember, third paragraph was the point where the problem became even more complex. We said researchers would like to have that material, which is as important as the Dead Sea Scrolls themselves. And that is why what did the last paragraph do? It did D. Option D. It presents a view that adds more complexity to the controversy being discussed. We were discussing who's the author, and last paragraph added more confusion to it. Okay, so with this, we have come to an end of today's CLAT sprint session that was dedicated to solving English questions, RC questions. I hope you have understood every question perfectly, and you enjoyed reading these two passages. I paid special attention to the fact that I can bring you variety of question types. You must have noticed that there were questions based on inference. There was a bit of logic as well, strengthening, weakening. There were questions asking you the structure of the passage so that you can pay a very good attention, pay a very good eye to how the information is arranged. If need be, please go through the video once again. You can pause it at the right places. You can read it at your pace and derive the most of it. And I promise to see you soon again. Yes, with the marathon session that I just mentioned, we'll be practicing more such questions. Please have a very good day, people. Take very good care of yourself. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.